The Watermark Arts Center in Bemidji has its January exhibit up and open to the public. Last week, Minnesota artist Aaron Squadroni showed off his latest works based on Minnesota mines. Our reporter Sydney Dick has more for this week's In Focus.
While peace, quiet, and art may not be the first things you think of when you think of an old mine, that is what went through Minnesota artist Aaron Squadroni's thoughts when he visited the old Hill Annex Mine State Park.
The Hill Annex mine was interesting to me because it had more of the history preserved, and so that was part of why I went there. And it was fairly accessible and fairly quiet. There aren't big crowds.
Squadroni spends a lot of his time running, hiking, and exploring, and when he stumbled across the Calumet Mines, inspiration struck for his Rhythm of the Hill Annex Mines art exhibit.
The title of the show is The Rhythm, but kind of patterns and movement of the rock patterns and kind of how the trees were regrowing, and just this sort of language of the mindscape that you don't see in other places.
The artist held an opening talk at the Watermark Art Center to explain his process.
All the large drawings were done with a wire brush. I take a piece of paper and then I paint it with kind of a abrasive paint, and then I can draw on it with metal. So metal point is kind of this older process, and I'm using brushes, so a lot of the large pictures are very soft and kind of almost fuzzy.
The mines closed down back in 1978, and the area became an official state park a decade later. But in 2025, the state plans to reopen the mines, so the state park has been abolished.
I'm glad that I was able to focus on it before it eventually is no longer there.
Reporting from Bemidji with this week's In Focus, I'm Sydney Dick, Lakeland News.
This In Focus segment of Lakeland News was brought to you in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Lakeland News is a nonprofit news organization. Donate to Lakeland PBS today to support your local news team.